Well, thank you very much for that, Mark. I'm not sure which part I enjoyed most, the irreverent part or the serious part. I think I'll take the serious part. I have no speech tonight because I asked my habitual speechwriter to do one for me, and he said, I don't have time, but here's what you do. You get up there and you tell him, thanks very much, I'm humbled. This is a great honor. I am very proud to be able to join this pantheon of people who have gone before. Then tell him you don't really deserve it, but then you've got a herniated disc and sciatic pain and you didn't deserve that either. True, by the way. Then tell him, then ask gently, what the hell took so long? I'm 81. I actually know the answer to that one because Bill Chapin's predecessor, Jeff Leemsma, talked to me about 10 years ago and said, you know, we really want to induct you into the Hall of Fame, but the problem is the rules say you either have to be A, dead, or B, retired. I picked Plan B. Then Plan A will come in due time. Then he suggested that I tell an automotively themed joke. So here it comes. There's a guy who has finally married his girlfriend of many years. One day he's in the garage polishing his Corvette, and she says, honey, now that we're married, don't you think it's time to get rid of that and buy a more sensible car? And he's somewhat startled, and he says, God, for a minute there, you sounded exactly like my ex-wife. And she said, wait a minute, I didn't know you were married before. And he says, I wasn't. A word to the wise to all the girlfriends here. At any rate, on a more serious note, I think Mark said it. I am obviously thrilled, pleased, greatly honored. My mother would be proud. My father wouldn't believe it. Most of my school teachers wouldn't believe it. And then, of course, there's always the part where I almost forgot this in the speech segment, you're supposed to thank the people that you worked for during your career for the guidance they gave you. And all I can say is that's all covered in my book, Icons and Idiots. Read all about it. But now I will get to a final serious note, and that is it is a great honor. I am deeply humbled. And I will tell you this. Today was one of the best days of my life, or this week has been one of the best weeks of my life, because we had the news of General Motors winning 8 categories in J.D. Power's annual quality survey. No domestic company has ever done this before. So that was followed by today's General Motors earnings announcement, which was outstanding. And Mark, you did the usual brilliant job in GM North America. General Motors now commands the highest transaction prices in the industry, just about the highest residual values for used cars. So this is the company that was the butt of nightclub comedians' jokes a few years ago, and is now the one commanding the highest transaction prices. The other night at a party, or at a speech I gave, somebody asked the question and said, recently my brother bought a car, and he shopped around, and he got a better deal elsewhere than he got at General Motors. What's wrong with this? I said, there's nothing wrong with it. It's great. That's the best news I've heard in a long time, that we are finally able to realize the true value for our cars. And then, of course, today's announcement of Consumer Reports, not exactly known to be extremely favorable to domestic brands, named the Impala as America's best sedan, 95 points out of 100. And the reason this is of a special point of pride for me is because I left Chrysler in 1998, and I thought I had been able to convince the culture that excellence pays, and a little more money to be excellent, a little restraint on leasing, a little restraint on daily rental sales is all for the better. The minute I was out the door, they said, thank God he's gone. Now we can get back to doing business the way we always have, and headed straight for the porcelain bowl. I was, frankly, not worried, but I was wondering whether the lesson that excellence pays would be retained by General Motors after my departure. Well, those J.D. Power quality reports, the new GMC and Chevrolet pickup trucks, and this triumph of the Chevrolet Impala convinces me that the ethic of spend a little more, engineer it a little better, put in the extra cost if you have to, but product excellence is the final driver of market and financial success. That lesson, I think, is deeply ingrained in General Motors, and the knowledge, and by the way, the rest of the industry too, but especially General Motors. But that knowledge that I was able to contribute to that means perhaps as much to me as receiving this award at night, or at least in my own mind, it validates why I'm getting the award. At any rate, I am honored. I thank you very much for selecting me, and I will treasure this award for the rest of my life. Thank you very much.